early on in the development of the VIA, it was important to understand that we weren't just, a bunch of Americans coming up with these sort of very American-style strengths. And in order to do that, because we are fundamentally empiricists, we actually had to go and test these. So I went to the far northern part of Greenland, to Qaanaaq and Siarpaluk. These are the northernmost towns in the world. And I also went to the equator, to Kenya, where I worked with Maasai tribal people who live far off the world economic stage, far off even the tourist circuit in Kenya. And I went to these people and I got huge samples, and I took the VIA list there, and asked them about these wonderful traits, about courage and leadership and fairness and these types of strengths. And I said, do you have these? Do you have words in your language for these? Do you recognize these? Would you want your children to have these traits? Do you think that men and women can both have these traits? Do you think that there's a developmental trajectory where these strengths build, or do you think they're sort of internal to people and you just sort of have them or you don't? I asked questions like, do you have institutions in your culture that would foster these strengths and actually help to develop it? Can you point to someone in your community who's an exemplar, a great example of this particular virtue? And here's what we found. Whether you're talking about Maasai people living at the equator or Inuit people living at the North Pole, you actually have a huge amount of agreement that people do recognize the VIA traits. This isn't just an American phenomenon. That you do say, do you have a concept of leadership? And they say, well, definitely, of course we have leadership. Do you have creativity? Yeah, of course we have creativity. What about appreciation of beauty? What about that? Yeah, we definitely have a version of that.